if they're talking about personnel, they can discuss that in their closed session. You know, some personnel matters, it might be best that they be kept closed, but they do have to make a public vote of that. So the Sunshine Law and the Press Association here in the media in Missouri is always pressing for more and more sunshine to make sure everything's out in the public. So, and they have grounds for this up to a certain point. There are certain sensitive issues that I've served on various boards before. You feel a little bit more comfortable discussing things in private, but then probably some things when I served on a school board that was done in the executive session probably violated the Sunshine Law as it is now. It wasn't in existence then. But basically say the Sunshine Law means that all business has to be done out in view of the public. So it's not all bad. Because there's been times I may want to see or view some decision being made by some governmental body.
Is it true that if you have binoculars or a cell phone or a sleeping bag or maps, those things can actually get you put on these watch lists?
Oh, how do you get on a watch list? Interesting thing, when we were calling the MIAC headquarters when this MIAC report came out, and one of the gals working in my office is representative guest on that list, and without realizing that she was not supposed to say that, she admitted that I probably was on the watch list for them there, just because of speaking out against the government working this Real ID, because the Department of Revenue here in Missouri was opposing this. And any time I guess they felt like we'd probably taken some of their freedom or control away from it. But basically, it was just standing up for our individual rights and freedoms. And this has been a nightmare as far as identity theft. So how do you get on? I think of some of your actions. I think certain individuals of us are probably being watched or listened to most of the time. I have no doubt of what we are, and we feel like we're every day, if we don't stand up and continue to fight, we're getting one step closer to Big Brother continually watching or listening to us.
Can I ask you something? Let me ask you something about the terrorist watch lists. Now, these lists are maintained by what agency primarily? Is it through the National Security Council, the CIA, or FBI, or a combination of thereof? Or?
I'm not sure who has that one watch list. The problem is how erroneous. There is, on the no-fly list, 1 million people on there? Mm-hmm. And I just saw a couple of days ago on TV some 12-year-old boy, his name was on the no-fly list or the watch list. So it is, difficult when somebody's getting their name on there. I'm not sure how long it takes you to get it off. Mm-hmm. And the people that put those names on that list, if
now, how are they actually getting on the list, sir? Do you know?
I don't know. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying that Homeland Security, FBI, if they see somebody that's acting suspiciously, and if they think they have good reason, they may stick somebody's name on that watch list. And the trouble is, you or I probably don't know. We may be on that terrorist watch list there, and so that's
How familiar are you, sir, with the InfraGard organization?
What was that again?
InfraGard? Have you ever heard of InfraGard?
InfraGard. I'm not familiar with. I've heard of it, but then.
Well, basically, they're an organization made of community, sponsored by the FBI to be the eyes and the ears in communities, and then reporting back to the FBI with information and having the ability to share some information that a lot of law enforcement would have. And law enforcement would feed them that information. That's what I understand they are. They have approximately 28 centers throughout the country right now, some of which are which are hosted by police officers and other civic people, civil-minded people. created at this particular point in time. I know Jesse Ventura had done a show pertaining to them in a show called Big Brother, and he did interview some of those people from InfraGard. And, from the outset, at least, it didn't look like it was everything that they said it would, that they were. But let's go a little bit further here. We spoke about provocateurs and low-level terrorism. If you have a Ron Paul sticker, you can be listed as a terrorist. If you have a cell phone, if you have a sleeping bag, or a set of binoculars, they can list you as a terrorist. Basically, the information can be held, obviously, through a few agencies, the Department of Homeland Security. I think, I'm asking, they're the ones that oversee these fusion centers? Are they the people that oversee the centers that are put into communities around the country?
That's a very good question. That's what we tried to get. We asked that the direct question, who is directing these fusion centers? Mm-hmm. And, they would say, well, the Homeland Security personnel are just coordinators. And, even direct questions, they would not admit that Homeland Security has an undue influence. And there is no doubt in my mind that they are the ones that's directing the efforts. They say, well, they're just monitoring the news around the country, sharing information with various states or various law enforcement agencies. But I think shortly after that time, the Department of Homeland Security said some of these returning veterans from our war could be potential terrorists, having come out of a conflict like that and the stress, and they may be more liable. And of course, that erupted a huge firestorm around the nation, try and label any returning veteran that fought for our country or freedom as being potential. So that's the threat there. That's the problem when you have something like that gets out of control and people not being responsible for what they say or the actions. So it makes you wonder just how embedded or how much control the Homeland Security is directing on it. And so I think,
is it possible that because veterans have military training in arms and weapons and military tactics, that these individuals or entities or agencies or whatever you want to call them, are they really a defense against any type of scenario to go against the United States of America, and they would actually be a protective device for our national freedoms, and that's why they don't list them as terrorists?
Yeah, that's a good point. It's there's always a possibility that a few of our soldiers coming back under extreme stress could crack or have some resentment that they were out there to fight for something, and maybe start talking about